What if I told you the smartest thing that you can do for your business is to build something that doesn't need you?
You're listening to the AI Convergence Podcast, presented by Voxe AI, where AI, business, and mindset converge.
Christmas break ended, and to be honest, I didn't want to come back. And that's not because I hate what we do. Love it. We all love what we do. But we pushed so hard last year, we were on the verge of exhaustion and potentially burnout. So when I walked into the office, I looked at Christian and Trey and kind of realized we were all feeling the same way. And then we had the epiphany. We're building the wrong business. So today, we're going to be honest about what's broken and what we're building to fix it. It's kind of funny. I've shared this this saying. You guys have heard it a lot. 2 years ago, whenever I launched Voxe, initially as a digital marketing agency, I realized AI was going to change digital marketing forever, probably put digital marketing agencies out of business. And so I was like, oh, I need to build the business that's going to put my business out of business. And so for a good year and a half, I worked on doing that. And I say that at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, like I achieved that. That's partially true. Because we're doing a lot of things that were just, really light years ahead of most other agencies out there. But whenever I was sitting on the break, we took 12 days at the end of the year. I gladly took it. I had to force these guys to take vacation. And I had a lot of time to reflect, especially because I got sick for like 3 days, an additional day of recovering. And just sitting around just caused me to really think and reflect about everything. And I was like, man, we're at the beginning of what do you call that? A momentum point where we're about to push the snowball over the ledge, and it's about to take off. Like 2026 was a lot of building, a lot of optimizing, and the last quarter to 4 months of 2026, we started really exponentially growing. And even over the break, I mean, we had people waiting for us for onboarding, like literally. And we started off January with a bang. And so this momentum is going. And I started to realize over the break, I was like, I did a check the Friday before the Monday we came in. I was like, okay, like how are we feeling? Ready to get back into the office, get going? And the answer was kind of like, And I was like, uh-oh, that's a problem. Like, I better evaluate this. I better find out why. Cause like, I mean, I love what I'm doing. So I was like, what it turned out to be is that all of the work and the growth that we were doing, we kind of lost our way a little bit. And that was because the growth is a little intoxicating. And so you start, we've positioned ourselves very intelligently in the market, partners with really great partners, the BBB across America. And the services that we offer are so different from other agencies because of the customer service that we bring, because of the speed at which we bring it, the quality. And those are things that are really important to all of us and everybody else on our team. And we just stand out because of that, not because we spend a ton of money in advertising, because, we're like trying to be on the Forbes magazine or anything like that. But, I would say over 80% of all the businesses we put on last year were just through word of mouth referral. And so that gets really exciting. You're like, man, this is great. Like we're building something that works. But then when we started looking at it, AI was only helping us fulfill maybe 50%, I would say. Yeah, I would say 50% of what we were doing. regardless of the fact of us being an AI company, which is a little sad, to be honest. And so what ended up happening was, growth. If you've built any business before, I've built 14 of them. Well, this will be 14 and a half, 15, because it's evolving. That there's this point to where you're going to need more help to grow before you have the money to hire, right? And so that's where we were at. Like, we're like, okay, we're starting to see we need more help. If we scale, we're going to have to quickly find out a way to be able to pay them and then grow and scale. And so because we were holding back on hiring, that was putting more fulfillment on us, especially like me. And so we were just, I was here in the office, I think probably on average 2 nights a week, maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, helping the team, getting things done, making sure we're delivering and holding our promise to the clients. And so, the day before Christmas Eve, I was here till 10 o'clock at night, just making sure that I could actually take a vacation. So this way I didn't have anything to worry about. And so I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't want to scale this, It's like, I don't want to scale this. Don't want to do it. And they agreed. And so over the Christmas break, I started building tools. There was a tool that we use that I built, custom code, for our project management. It also helps with a lot of other things, keeping track of things. And so I started ideating, well, where are the bottlenecks? What are the things that are going to help with fulfillment? So that way we don't have to hire more people. We can just work smarter and leverage. And I built 2 new platforms over the Christmas break. Like, that's what I was doing the whole time. I was just, coding, and then also using AI to code and like building, and we're just like moving at warp speed. And so whenever I came in on Monday, I held a Voxe New Year, New Voxe meeting, and I showed everybody what we were doing, or what I did, and how it's going to change everything for us. But I really didn't realize what I had done until I went home that night, and I actually positioned us to completely change how we operate, what we do. So, this isn't theory. This is an actuality. So we want to share with you guys the pains that we're going through, how we're solving them. And the takeaway for all of you listeners is, it's not to work less, because we realize that it's not the work that we hate. We enjoy the work. It's just that we want to build something that works for us, right? Or works with us. Actually without us. Something that we can focus on. Every one of us can focus on our, what do they call that? Your genius. Every one of us can step into our genius and do what we actually really love to do. And so we decided to build it.
Yeah. I think that's where most businesses really get caught up, or kind of stumble, I should say. And either, push past it, or either like dissolve or just kind of crumble, is like that moment that you need to scale. And I think that break was just so timely, because we were at a point where we're just like at the cusp of like burnout and just breaking. I didn't think I was. I was like, oh, I'm good to keep working. And then like after a couple of days, I'm like, okay, this is actually nice. Maybe I was burnt out. Like I feel a little bit more relaxed and I can actually think. But, some businesses maybe don't have the luxury of like taking a step back and taking a break, and really thinking about, their business. They just need to make it, So, I think it was really nice that we did that. And you just like organically, because you love it, started building these things, that maybe you did or didn't realize was going to be kind of the future evolution of the business. You were just doing what you were happy about. And of the world.
Evolution of the world.
We're changing the world.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think it's awesome that you did that. And it was funny because you came in and we're like, how was everybody's break? And you're like, yeah, I didn't really do much. And you're like, but I did build this, and then I built this, and then I built this. Me and Trey were just like, man, that's crazy. But it's a testament to like how advanced AI is getting and how easy it is to build something. And being able to automate things is more of a reality than ever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think back when Matt and I were talking a lot about the trajectory and the future of the business here. And it was always about like maximum or how we can make the best margins and how we can use AI to do like a lot of pretty much everything. And then we both really got just caught up in fulfillment over the last 3 months. And we ended up really not talking about that stuff as much. And I think, quite frankly, I just didn't have the brain power to think about the future of the business because I was using so much trying to fulfill all of the clients that we had. There's just no time or energy left over for that that I had. And like you said, late nights, early mornings, and stress, couldn't sleep. So,
because you still have life on top of that, right?
yeah.
And whatever, everybody has stresses in life, that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
So there's a few things here. There's like the burnout confession, which I think a lot of business owners need to be more honest with themselves about. Because I could have just been in, denial and just been like, you know what, we had a great last quarter. We need to keep that going. We just have to hit this goal, this number. We just got to push through it, right? Like a lot of people do. But I realized that we built initially, like we'd been talking, like we're going to build this business for freedom. And then that business that we were building became our prison, and it was just like, there was just a lot of times I'm like, it's a good thing I don't have any kids, but I still have a wife, that's more understandable and more flexible. But I could just imagine if you have kids and you're, in the office till 8, 9 o'clock, trying to get things done. Or even if you take your computer home, you're there, but you're not there because you're still, working. And, it felt like for me that I was enjoying the break more than I was looking forward to get back to work. And that's whenever, in all of my experience, that's whenever I know where I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't working. This isn't what I want. And in the past, when it was just me and a handful of, outsourcers, I have just been like, okay, this isn't what I want, cut it, and I start something else. But now it's more than just me and some outsourcers. I have a team and they depend on me. And also I really like what we're doing and it is fun. And so I was like, okay, we got to think about this strategically and logically. And so, for me, having this experience in these businesses, I've experienced burnout before. It was in 2016 after a full 3-year stint of traveling, doing, video production, and just constant go all the time. My burnout was so hard that up until today, like I haven't really picked up a camera in any meaningful way or edited,
Feel free to do some editing if you want. Warm up those fingers again.
Yeah, right. I was just so burnt out. I'm like, F this, man. I don't want to do it anymore. And so, I felt that happening here. And I was like, okay, it's, and also like anybody out there who's in a service-based business, or agency, like you have that agency trap where the service businesses scale by adding people and hours. And that's where we found ourselves. And we're lucky because like it's just at a point to where we can make a move and we can transition and it's not going to hurt anything. And, but had we been, 50 more clients into it, that would probably have been a problem, a much bigger,
Mhm.
much bigger thing to move around. And so we are in a position to where we can do this, but that doesn't mean that, you can't do it. But
Yeah, I think with us, with you, being the founder, you've been very hands-on with every client.
mhm,
So that kind of creates, these golden handcuffs where you're just kind of handcuffed to these clients
Mhm.
because we've probably lost clients because you initiated like the conversation, but then you kind of dropped out because you had to do your own thing.
mhm.
And then so you were kind of attached to like the face of the business.
Yeah.
And that's probably what a lot of agencies experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like Michael said, that one client that we lost because of that. It was like, yeah, he's like, they went to bed with you and they woke up with me, and he was like, and that's a shock. So
The old switcheroo.
yeah, the old switcheroo, right? and yeah, and that's just because like every business that I've ever started and many business owners out there know it's like, it's your business, it's your baby, you're the face of it, you're talking to people and people buy you. They don't buy your service. There's a million, digital marketing, now AI agencies out there. They don't buy your services. They buy you. And so, for me, people were buying into me and I made them feel comfortable and trustworthy, etc. And I wasn't doing a good job of transferring that over into the rest of the team. And so, yeah, there's a few clients, most of them, where I felt like I was that main point of contact. And so that was one of the first things we started optimizing last year with Michael. Um, Amazing project manager and point person. Like he's the kind of guy you want for that job,
For sure.
so he's been helping out a lot. And now we transitioned, to where I might be on that onboarding call. But I also set the expectations. I may have sold them because I, to this point, do probably over 90% of the sales for the company. And I may have sold them and, they bought because of me, but that whole, and I warm them up too. Once the onboarding happens, you're going to be handed off to Michael and he's going to be your main point of contact. If you need anything, you go through him. And, now I champion him and the transition with our last few clients has been, fine. It's great. They need anything, they reach out to him. And then now I'm slowly doing the same thing with the past clients and he's stepping in and now they're being transitioned over to him and that's a smooth process. So I think that was one thing which we were already starting to address. But the biggest one, if I had to be on 2 or 3 client meetings a week, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, honestly, because I enjoy it so much and I love consulting, but it was the fulfillment. It's like doing the job, like making sure that it's done right. And there are some tasks that would take maybe an hour, 2 hours to fulfill, like honestly, but they were getting pushed down in the pipeline because these bigger tasks were like, we gotta do that. And, and so like this fulfillment keeps packing up. And as a founder, I'm growing the company, I'm directing everybody, I'm training, new sales reps. I'm helping to create SOPs. I'm building our internal software and architecture. I'm, networking with people. I'm going on our bigger client sales calls, closing them, helping direct pricing proposals. You know, being a present leader. And I mean, I'm doing a ton of stuff. and then also fulfilling in some areas because I've done a poor job of transitioning that off into somebody, saying, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. You have to do that. So that was also like a learning curve. And so, I'm doing 80 hours worth of work easily in a 40-hour work week. And I'm constantly, sometimes 50-hour work week. I'm constantly like going and moving. And so that's why I was feeling burnout. And then, and it's great. Sometimes you got to feel the pain, because then when you have that pain, then you're like, I don't like this pain. How do I solve this pain? And so that kind of moves over into where we're at now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, people have the vision of entrepreneurship and the freedom that it provides. If you build the systems and processes and have that perspective around it, because in the beginning, when you don't know how to really structure your business, you're just trying to make money and taking on the next thing one after another. And you're just chasing kind of that next dollar. It's hard to take a step back and realize that you're in pain and like, what do I do to get myself out of it? Some people grind through it. Like I left engineering because I wanted to chase that freedom. And I felt that that harsh reality pretty quickly. I was like, okay, the bank account's draining. I'm making money here and there. Like I had a side hustle during my career, and then I like leaped 100% into it. But there's still that transition period where it's like, okay, now I'm doing this 100% of my time. What do I do with the rest of the time that I had that I was going to work and no money coming in? So I think that's a big trap that I fell into. And then it was 3 years of grinding and didn't have AI to, build all these processes out with, even just like checking emails, writing proposals, like those take hours of time. And, with the project management system that you built out, like a lot of those mundane tasks are just automated. Like there's a lot of back and forth that the system does. Yeah. And then you guys chime in when you need to. And those are the moments that you guys enjoy, like talking to the clients, not making the proposals, not, sending out the emails. Yep. So yeah, all that being said, it's like AI is just making it really possible to automate things and really think about like how to create a business where you do get freedom.
And I think this is a great, so we have 38, right?
Almost 39.
Almost 39. Yeah. Well, I'm going on 47. And then we have the Gen Z, over here. So we have like a Gen X, we have a millennial, and then we have a Gen Zer. So we have like 3 generations here. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting. And this is one thing I had to, because I'll be honest with you, like all of you, I came into the office, I shared my story of near burnout. And then you guys were kind of like, yeah, actually I was pretty close to that too. And there was a part of me that's like, wait a second. I'm pretty much, I'm doing all of this and I'm here to burn out. And you guys are, like you're handling development and whatnot, but you're not dealing with all the other things that I'm dealing, right? And you're handling content creation, whatever, but you're not dealing with all the other things. And a part of me was like, well, wait a second, how are they close to burnout? But then I was like, you know what? Everything is perception. Burnout is still burnout, right? Like if for you, working a full 40 hours a week is like, holy crap, like your nervous system is like burnout, it's still burnout. It doesn't matter if I'm doing 80 hours of work in your 40 hours, my threshold of pain, because that's the truth, my threshold of pain is 10x, what most people's is. And that doesn't mean that that's right. Like it just means that I over the years, I have pushed myself to a point to where my red light doesn't go off till it's far beyond other people's red light. And that's a problem, So, but like, I think people would like to hear about like what your experience, your viewpoint, like a 24-year-old coming out of college, having an opportunity to grow in a partnership with a business like this. and support it. We're still very much grassroots, bootstrapping, kind of a phase. By all means, still very successful, but we're having to put in a lot of our own time, effort, mental energy to get this going. We weren't funded. Nobody's investing us. Like we're every one of us are giving back into the company to help it grow. So what's your take on that? Your story?
Pull that closer to you, Trey. The mic.
Yeah, after college, I had my finance and accounting degree, and I just knew that I could go and do I could go and get one of those jobs, entry level, and spend 5 years of doing that kind of work until I could start making real money and advance through the corporate ladder. But I was like, that's a world that's old, and it's not going to exist by the time I get there. I'll do all that entry level time, and then AI will just replace me instantly. And sadly, this year, I really can see that, and I can see it happening as early as this year.
Yeah.
We're big $200,000 jobs, $150,000 jobs, investment bankers, lawyers, those kinds of positions just gone. Like that's going to happen this year for sure. And people just don't talk about it, and they just want to be ignorant about it, or they're just not educated and they're not looking at this stuff. College obviously is telling you that you're going to be fine and, go and get a job, stay your path. But I just saw through the noise. I was like, well, that's not going to work. So I got to figure something else out. So I wanted to learn AI because I saw AI was the one that's going to be taking all of that and transitioning the entire world into a new world. So, but I also knew that because I'm doing that, at least it's new. So everyone's kind of starting from scratch, but it's still a new skill you have to learn. So I came in eyes wide open and knew that it was just going to be a lot of grinding and learning something brand new. Like you're starting fresh. And like where I started and where I am now, it's kind of mind blowing. Really, like the capabilities that I came in with, and then what I can do now is I can't even really believe it. But and then where we're going to be in a year, I don't even know. But yeah, bottom line is it was a lot of hours, and I think I burnt out a little bit earlier because I was learning so much and getting nothing for it really. Obviously I'll get paid down the road. Like that investment's not gonna not pay off. I mean, it was the right thing to do, but I still got burnt out because 6 months into learning something that's not really getting you much, and you're putting in a lot of hours. So yeah, like the last quarter of the year, I was taking a step back, and I was still like struggling to sleep, still just. And I think that's really what it was. Just like I wasn't getting sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was too anxious. I've never had that problem. And then I always felt like I was behind because AI moves so quick. I always think someone else is ahead of me, and I need to get ahead of them. So I have to get back to the office and start learning and get better.
Yeah, that's true.
And then like answering clients' questions, and I'm still learning, but I have to answer their questions and like fix any problems that I have. So that's really where the burnout came from for me, but at least I know that this is like the right thing to do, or the best thing I can do for myself to protect myself for the future.
Yeah.
At least you're getting paid now.
We're not getting
Right,
paid.
like-
Guys. We're doing this for free. No, I think it's cool because you had that forward thinking mindset, but also you dived in and you like started to learn about AI, and I think that's eventually how Matt discovered you. Like I think you applied for like a sales position, right? And then we discovered that you're just way more valuable than that with all your AI knowledge. So you kind of paved the way for yourself and have like an opportunity to be like not start a business from scratch, but like be part of like the
Yeah.
growth of a business with like some structure and like a founder that has experience. But I think that's where the burnout can come from, is because there's not like, we can pave our own way and there's not much like structure. Like we kind of create our own structure,
Mm-hmm.
and that could be overwhelming in itself. Like, and that's kind of what I was getting burned out about, is like, there's so many things in marketing that we could be doing, but, you know, it gets to a point where it's like overwhelming. Like, what do? I want to do this. And then you're kind of like task switching and strategizing in different areas. And I think that's where the overwhelm comes from, as opposed to having like a job where you're just doing the same thing every day. You don't have to worry about it. You're getting paid, same thing. Got a 401k, all that stuff, which is comforting to a point, but then inevitably it's going to get to a point where you're just going to, you know, feel like you have no purpose. So,
And you
yeah.
hate your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And I think this is a great conversation because, in full transparency, you know, like in every business that I've started, if somebody wants to come and be a part of the business, like I make them put in their sweat equity, you know, and I'm like, hey, if this works out, you're going to benefit, be a partner, your percentage ownership, share dividends, you know, like I win, we all win. And because I've done it the other way in times past, where, you know, you pay people and, you know, because you're like, I want you to perform well, so I'm going to, you know, take a risk on you, and then it doesn't work out. And then there's all that bitterness and stuff. So in the beginning, you know, yeah, I mean, these guys were getting paid very little. And so now with everything growing to the point to where there is pay, and we are on a precipice of growth to where that could be actually really good for all of us. I didn't want to find us at a point to where, all right, now we're all making real good money, but we fucking hate our job, you know, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the whole, also another thing too is that when I'm the founder, and I think this resonates with a lot of people who are small business owners, startups, and you build the business up to a point to where it's a viable business. It's making money. It's at least somewhat profitable, and you need help. So you start looking for help in different ways. And then what happens is, like, somebody comes in, you know, to help, like with content creation or whatever, or development, fulfillment, whatever. You're like, okay, awesome. You do this, right? And they see the vision, they get it, and maybe they're paid on a project basis or whatever it is in the beginning. And so as a founder, you're just like, okay, I can take this off of my plate, at least some. But then what you don't do, you give a little bit of training, a little bit of guidance, but you don't create that structure because you haven't built it yourself, right? Like you don't say, okay, this is your SOP. This is, you know, this is how things work, and this is the process that you got to follow, and blah, 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 blah. And so, you know, like I've been clear with these guys from the beginning, like, I need you to take this department, this section of the business, and build it for me, for us, you know, and this way I don't have to do that, or at least I don't have to do that completely. You know, I'm very hands-on in the business, and so then when you have most everybody that comes out of traditional, like, you know, engineering, corporate America, like you go into a job and everything's there, right? You just have to show up and follow the instructions, and the hierarchy's there, and you know who to talk to and all that stuff. When that doesn't exist, yeah, it's pretty stressful. You're like, oh shit, now I got to build all this myself. And then like then you have all of the self-sabotage that starts to rear its head, and, you know, all of these, you know, self-doubts and stuff. So, you know, last year was a really, really interesting year with a lot of different dynamics going on. Excuse me. And so it's been really cool, like looking back to kind of see how we've grown. And it'll be really fascinating at the end of this year to see what's happened after another year of the business, because of everything that we're doing. And you know, like what I think I want people to get out of this is that the hustle culture is a scam. And I have conversations with other people, old friends, on a pretty regular basis and get their opinions on, how success is achieved, right? And so you have a lot of different, I have a lot of different uh, viewpoints in the different kind of like sectors of friends that I have. And so like I have the spiritual people, like the manifestors that are like, if I just manifest enough, and I get my mind right, I don't have to put that much effort into it, right? And then you have the people on the other side who are the super hustlers, like man, I work 80, 90 hours a week. And if I could just get down to 65 hours a week, I'd be happy. But you get back what you put in, and that's literally how it works. And I have to hustle, hustle, hustle. And then you have social media, which I'm sure there are some out there, but I'm going to say in my whole algorithmic bubble that I live in, because we all live in our own algorithm bubbles, I don't see anybody who kind of really subscribes to work smarter so that way you don't have to work harder, but you can still be very successful. Like that doesn't seem like it's very common. What's mostly common is you get out there, you hustle, like Gary Vee, love him to death. You like stay up till midnight replying to every single, 3,000 DMs that you have. And you do that every single day and do it for 10 years and then you'll be successful, kind of a thing. No. But just as long as you love what you're doing, you'll be fine. And that's not true. And then you have Alex Hormozy, like, all of these people who are just really emphasizing this hustle culture. And it's kind of confusing because we're in a world of extremes, because then on the other side, you have the people who are like, kind of like that, the manifestors, the people that, well, I just manifest. I just have to get myself right. And the truth is actually in the middle. What I've learned is that you do have to have your mind right. You do have to have yourself aligned with the desires and the goals that you're setting. And you also do have to put in the effort to get them, But the challenge is, for me anyway, is, like, it's easy for me to subscribe to that hustle culture because that was my generation. Like Gen X came out of like the baby boomers, right? Like the older millennials, where you're just like, you got to work, you got to hustle. And so finding that pendulum swing, what I've found to be true is that it's momentum. You build that momentum. You have to put forth effort to build the momentum. You have a huge ball out in the road, you got to push it. You're not just going to be able to blow on it. You have to push it. But once it gets going, you don't have to push as much energy into it. And that's one thing that I've learned, last year. And while we've been here year and a half, 2024, 25, 26. Yeah. So now 2 full years here in Colorado Springs almost. And I've put so much energy and effort into networking, connecting, teaching, training, providing value to the community. And that wheel now is starting to, or that ball is really starting to roll. Like it's rolling on its own now. I mean, we had a conversation before Christmas break where like, I don't even think we could stop it if we wanted to at this point, And so now it's growing. So now I found myself over whenever I was feeling kind of like, this sucks. I was like, well, wait a second. We're in a position now where we have choices. We have decisions. Like we have options is the word. We have options. Like I've done all the work. They've helped. We have this thing rolling. Before it gets away from us, we have options. Let's make some smart decisions here. And I think that's the part where a lot of business owners miss, where they put all that effort into it and then it starts getting away from them. And then they just find themselves in the, what was the word that we had here in our notes that I love so much? trading time for money, and like you become a prisoner to your business, because now you've built something that is just, it's going, and then now you're like, well, I have to keep going, because then you start operating from a place of trauma to where if you're like, well, if I pull back, then the business is going to slow down, and then if it slows down, then I'm going to find myself back where I was 3, 5, 10 years ago, trying to make ends meet, and that was stressful, and I don't want to do that. So then you keep pushing. So there's like this whole trauma response too that us as business owners, founders, entrepreneurs have to deal with as well. Then you have to be open enough to be able to see when that's happening. And that's what happened over the break. And like you said, thank goodness we had the break, like because we needed it. So what are we going to do? Like, what's the solution? And what would you do if your business ran itself? That's the question. Because then the challenge was, so here's the challenge I presented to myself. I was like, okay, well, if I don't like what's happening, the question kept coming, like, how would it look? What would it have to look like if I actually really enjoyed it? Like, what would that look like? And the answer was fulfillment, 100% taken care of, or at least 95% taken care of. And so I started kind of going down that rabbit hole of like, well, what does fulfillment look like for us? What does that entail? And how much of that can be automated? And so the first platform that I built automated 90% of it. And then after that, stepping back, showing it, I realized that I was 5% away from having it pretty much do all of it. And so that's when I had the epiphany. I was like, guys, I keep saying that we need to build the business that's going to put our business out of business, but we haven't done that yet. Not really. And so that's what we're doing now.
Yeah. So I guess, so the main shift, I guess the philosophy with all this is to go from like hands-on services where we have to be pretty present, fulfilling, to more products and automation and SaaS.
Yeah. But here's where that gets interesting.
Say more, Matt.
Inside joke. Yes. What does that look like? I think agencies 5 years from now will look more like consulting houses, consulting agencies. And I think traditional agencies, digital marketing, even AI agencies as we know them today will not exist. I don't think that they will exist. So what are they gonna look like, Trey?
Well,
do you disagree with that?
No, I actually don't disagree with that.
Another inside joke.
Because over the break, I made my own AI assistant that can pretty much do all of my fulfillment for me. He basically is me, and he's learning and getting better every day. But because I already have that in place, I knew that it was possible that we could automate all fulfillment. And if we can do that right now, then in 2 years, it might take 2 years for everyone to get smart to it, but they're not going to be paying people to be doing this labor. It's labor that can be done for 10 cents an hour, and because of that, no human could ever compete with that. And that's the simple answer. And it can do, as long as you build it right, like you're doing. You have your experience. If you don't have the experience, then you can't build it right. Yep. So that's the only differentiator.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, and we're using the industry leading AI for coding.
Yeah,
and if we didn't have the experience that we had, we would not be able to build what we've built.
No question.
Hands down. No question.
All those hours.
Yeah.
Learning and using a worse version of what we're using right now has literally got us to where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. And then, like for me, the industry knowledge, experience, like you have to understand, roadmaps, architecture, framing, user experience, all of those things. AI cannot fulfill that right now. It cannot intelligently put that together. And so, but that's not going to be forever, right? Because it's learning from people like us. It's
Yeah,
learning.
it is.
and it'll get smarter. But right now, what's great is that we can automate. I mean, I feel comfortable saying 90 to 95% of everything, and so we're building a tool that's going to put us out of business. Honestly, like it's like literally not even. This isn't clickbait. We are building a tool that's going to put our agency, as you see it now, completely out of business.
Yep.
And the only way that we're going to stay in business is if we own the damn tool.
Yeah.
Sell it to other businesses to put them out of business.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Right. Like I want to put every other agency out of business.
Yeah.
And then they can use our tool to stay in business. No, not really. I mean, maybe
It's true.
no, but it's true. Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to build it. Right.
Mhm.
Why not us? And so, yeah, so we're working on that. I think that'll be out in February, late February. And but what's the whole overarching thing here is that we are in a world where these opportunities exist, but 90% of humanity, I'm just throwing that number out there, but I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that, has no idea that those opportunities exist.
Mhm.
Everybody knows AI is there, and then everybody, like you got the big people, you got Gary V and Brunson, what's his name? Richard Brunson. And you have all these people talking about AI. And you have platforms, like Go High Level and, what Vendasta and, and then you have Salesforce and HubSpot, and they're all having AI plugged into that. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude. People are using these things and they're advancing every day, but people do not know what the true capability is. They don't know what that means. Like they see, oh man, AI can do that. Wow, that's really cool. Robots can do that. Oh, that's really cool. But it's mostly looked at in a theoretical or a philosophical, if you will, point of view. Like, and then people say, well, won't it be cool when? Well, like we're already like experiencing when,
Yeah.
And so I think that we're, in a position to help people because what we're building is going to be able to help every business. Because if you think about it, marketing is number one. It's the most stressful, I think, for every business. A lot of businesses don't get it because you're not a marketer. You're a plumber, electrician, a roofer, contractor, medical spa technician, whatever it is. Like that's who you are. It's not your job to be an expert in marketing. And just like in your industry, there's so many nuances and things are changing. Well, that's the same in marketing. So you can't keep up with it. So, but it's necessary. And the businesses that sometimes they don't get it. I remember seeing a meme years ago where it says cutting back on your marketing to save money is like trying to stop your watch to save time. It's like it's not working.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It doesn't make sense. And so, what we're building is going to be something to help any business, every business, to be able to 10x their marketing and cut their time in marketing by 70% at least. And again, why? because we felt the pain ourselves. It's like, we're tired of fulfilling.
We got to market too.
Yeah, exactly. We got to market too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're tired of fulfilling, dealing with all you bastard clients out there. No, I'm just kidding. No, we actually have some of the best clients. And so, yeah, so that's what the future holds.
Yeah, I mean, marketing traditionally is like always a service-based thing, and it was never anything that could be outsourced or automated, because somebody's got to be out there making the landing pages and the blogs and ranking, optimizing the SEO, creating content, branding, things like that. We're all like based on human touch and manual labor. But now with the tools that we're building, that's all going to be packaged and automated. And yeah, like you said, 70-80% of the work's going to be done.
Yep. And to you, man or woman that's listening or watching this and saying, well, we have platforms out there that do that stuff. I want you to try to run your business on those platforms right now and see the quality of work that it does. I challenge you. I challenge anyone. I'll bet $1,000 to anybody listening to this. If you can find a platform that exists today, January 2026, that will do every aspect of your marketing and do it at a high quality, if that already exists, I'll pay you $1,000 if you can prove it to me, because it does not exist. You have automated workflows for content creation, but AI isn't there. The images, you can't get automated, really good, high quality content that people aren't tired of seeing, right? Getting views and then getting click-throughs are two different things, right? So the AI content is not there. It's not at that level. SEO does not exist. There's tools out there. There's like Atlas, and honestly, their platform's kind of crap. There's lots of tools out there where people are like, automate your SEO, like do this stuff. But they just don't they don't do a really good job. If you're okay with 60%, then those things are going to be great for you. The gap that we've filled, and also, content creation, marketing, customer reactivation, local Google business optimization, so that way you're showing up above your competitors. Like the list goes on in these marketing aspects. There is not one tool out there that either does what it does really good or does everything really good. And we know that because we've constantly been searching for those tools to help us fulfill. If they existed, we would have used them in our agency to cut down our fulfillment drastically. They do not exist. Not at the level of quality. You know what? Let me put it. Not at the level of quality that we require to fulfill for our clients. And so we're building something that does exceed the level of quality that we currently provide for our clients. And that's where it's really exciting. And then we are building another secret weapon that does not exist in any way, shape, or form. And that's coming out.
It's going to be the game changer.
Stay tuned. Yeah, man. Voxe, we're fucking some shit up this year in a real way. So we feel like, what did I say the other day? So I feel like we're in a garage building the first computer, like we're those guys.
Yeah. I mean, what we're thinking about is equivalent to the first computer, the next big thing. That's the luxury that AI gives us. We can have those mental exercises of like, we're trapped in our workflows or whatever. Like, how do we make this better for ourselves with the quality that we're expecting? And then how do we use that to help other people, do the same? Yeah. And it's within reach now. You can just, build it. And that's what we're trying to do. So,
yep. Yeah. So Trey, let me tell you what happened when. Fill in the blank.
I did want to bring up a point before break to now, because you're working on the platform, but I also, like I said, I developed my own AI assistant that could do everything that I'm already doing. And I can just tell you, like, mentally and just the difference between the 2 points in time. Before break, I was, like, stressed out. I had all these emails I had to respond to, all these updates I had to make to different products for projects that we were doing that I have, to now where I'm, like, basically responding with the updates to the new URL within, when like instantly, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I got to look over it, make sure it looks right, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel guilty for doing it, but that's like a mindset shift that I'm changing right now as I'm forcing myself to do it. It's like when I let my car drive me, I'm like, I just got to let him do it. Because I have to get comfortable with this. This is a new reality. The new reality is, back then, we used to do labor arbitrage, where we were making money from someone doing labor to fulfill something. And then we take the cut, you make money on top of how much you're paying them, and then that's the difference. Now it's the same thing, but it's AI, and we're paying AI pretty much nothing. And whoever can do that the best is obviously going to dominate the market, because they're paying cents for a product that has 99% profit margin. And then, that's how you do it. And you're competing against other guys that are still doing labor arbitrage, who are just, making very tiny margins compared to you. And you just swallow them because they're not superior. This is a superior business model. This is the future. So that mindset shift that I'm doing literally right now as we speak is pretty tough. But if I wasn't doing it, it would just be so contradictory to everything we're talking about.
Yeah. And with what you've built is really freaking powerful. But let's be honest, how easy is it for the Joe Schmo to set up on their computer?
100%, dude. They can't, like, it's not like you just do this overnight.
Yeah.
This is 9 months, 10 months of learning all these different things. What tools do I have to equip them with? What context? How does AI work? How does it think? When can you tell that he's being stupid, not actually looking at things, using tools? It's an art. You have to be able to read through the BS that the AI is telling you, because he's always trying to
gaslight you,
please you, tell you that he did everything that he said, and it's very difficult to just I would say it's impossible to just make that, like, instantly without having to do that.
I would agree, because if you don't know, if you go to Italy and you want to learn how to make pizza, and then somebody just has everything out there and they're like, okay, first thing you do is, like, you throw the dough up and then you put this stuff on it. And you're like, okay, cool. I followed those steps, and then you make pizza and it tastes like shit, and you're like, well, because along the way you made a slight little change, or you didn't realize that was there, or whatever. You didn't know what to look for. And so that's where we're at now with AI and coding. Like, you have to you have to be able to spot where the mistake is. And if you don't know what to look for, you're going to be like, man, this was great. Like 30 minutes, I built this app and it's awesome. And then you're trying to use it, and then you got bugs all over the place, and the code is crap. And, you actually think you can make money off of it. And then you're selling it because maybe you're an amazing salesperson, or you got 10 million followers or something. And then it starts breaking down, and then now you're stuck and trying to figure this out. Like, this is a true story. I read a story about this happening. Wow. And so that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
So what we're building, though, is for someone to be able to do what you're doing and more by just, like, clicking buttons.
Because we already designed the back end. We already, like, I like to tell people, AI, you have to mold it, and we already did the molding for you, and now you just get to be on top of that interface, versus getting the out of the box AI, that's not molded.
Yeah.
and then the worst part is every time you're interacting with it, you're molding it. But if you're interacting with it poorly, you're not setting guardrails and doing all those things, then it just does what it wants, and you think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what people aren't. That's one thing with AI that people don't have a grasp on. Logically, that it learns from the interaction with you,
Yep.
and it's constantly pivoting based on your responses.
Mm-hmm.
People will just read it, take it at face value, and be like, "Oh, AI is right. Everybody says AI is, awesome and can do everything, and it's right. So, I'm just going to believe it." So I think, having that out of the box product that we're creating that has all that kind of embedded and you can trust it like 100%,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be really valuable.
Got the idiocracy out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
You could trust it. Whoa, excuse me. So yeah, exciting stuff. That's what we're going through doing, now. And we're building the business that's going to put us out of business. And so then we'll have to transition into another business. That's exactly what we're doing in all truth.
We'll just be on the beach.
Yeah, be on the beach. Oh yeah. Working, whatever. And let's be clear. Okay, we'll wrap this up with this. We are not trying to build something so that way we never have to work again. Yeah. That's not. We're building something, and we're not trying. We are building something that's going to allow us to do more of the work that we love.
Yep.
And that's where we're using AI. And I know that there's other people around the world that are doing the same thing. That's where we're using AI to change our business, which will help change the industry, to where you can do what you love, right? Imagine being a business owner, a roofer, or whatever it is, and you just don't have to worry about your marketing anymore. Like, you legitimately do not have to worry about it. You have somebody in charge of it. There's always got to be a human in the loop a little bit, looking over things, taking 30 minutes a week or something. But now now you're just like, I don't have to do that anymore. And then what that does, that frees up mental energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start having better ideas of how to run your business, how to be better customer service, how to be a better leader, how to train better, hire better, all those other things that's sucking on your energy. And for most businesses, sadly, what happens is that they just end up not doing anything in marketing. They're just like, well, I just don't have the time or the disposable money to just throw away until it figures itself out. So then they cut that back. So it's not about not working. It's about working smarter. What's our motto? Anybody want? What's our motto?
Grind less, work harder.
Oh, that's it.
I'm just joking.
You're fired. You're fired.
Less, build more.
Grind less, build more. Grind less, build more, because it's the grind, right?
Yes.
And we're all entrepreneurs or builders. So we want to empower you to be able to build whatever it is that you're supposed to build, and not have to freaking grind your face off.
Yeah. Because we all became entrepreneurs to have that freedom and enjoy life, and then eventually your business, imprisons you. So having the freedom to do what you did to start the business, to be the visionary, is the key. So we're gonna get back there.
Yep, we're gonna help you guys do it. All right, thanks so much for listening to the AI Convergence Podcast, episode 7. Be sure to tune in to next week, so this way you can listen to whatever that is going to be, because we don't know what's going to be. So stay tuned. Well, here's the question that changed everything for me. Oh, wait, hold on.
I was like, that's it.
Yeah, no. Here's the question that changed everything for us. If your business can't run without you, do you even own a business? Or did you just buy yourself a job? Boom, bitch.
Boom, baby.
Okay. I've built 14 businesses, and the ones that failed, they needed me. But the ones that finally worked, they were killing me. And when I realized, oh, damn it. I gotta do that one again. I've built 14 businesses. The ones that failed, they needed me. The ones that finally worked, they were trying to kill me. That's when I realized success without freedom isn't success at all. In 5 years, any business model that requires the founder to show up every day is dead. And here's why.